All right, so I just turned it on, and it's called Ham Radio DX Rebroadcast. So let's see if this is able to hold it up.
Are you streaming now?
Yep, I turned it on.
Cool. I'll go live with mine now too. You can hear us, Murray?
Sure can.
That sounds good.
Morning, chaps. Morning, Tricky.
G'day, Mr. Muzz. Can't see you yet, but we can certainly hear you.
Oh.
Okay. We are now live. Oh, and we've got VK7DW here as well. So we've got Andrew. So we're now live on Ham Radio DX. So welcome everyone to the Aussie Ham Chat with one American who's decided to join in, who's also streaming on Ham Radio TV, Jason, KM6FAK. I'll throw it over to you, Jason. Give your channel a bit of a plug and say where you are and what's happening.
Yeah, very good. All right. Well, thanks for inviting me to this. It works out great for me. It's only 5 in the evening on a Friday. But my name is Jason. Call us KM6FAK. And yeah, for the last, I guess it's been close to 3 years now, I've been putting together this channel, Ham Radio TV, there on YouTube. And I just turned this on as well, so it should be out there in the world. So yeah, people will have 2 ways to watch this, either your channel or my channel, but definitely I recommend everyone to go check out Hayden's channel. A lot of good stuff, especially in the microwave. That is one thing I feel like you've really got that under control, you know, or just really show great stuff with it. I have very little knowledge with it, but yeah, thanks for having me, and over to you.
Thanks again. Yes, I've brought up your channel so that I can look at the chat. We've got a few people who are watching, a few in the chat, so that's good. So we might start off with we'll do a bit of a roundtable thing and see who wants to introduce themselves, say your call sign, what interested you in radio, what you're doing now is the sort of casual chat that we're going to have today. We'll start off with Andrew, VK3 Fox Sierra. How are you, Andrew, today?
Yeah, good morning, Hayden, and good morning, everybody. Yeah, look, it's interesting times at the moment. It's a tad damp today, and look, what can I say? Been an amateur for some 34 years plus at the moment, and my passion at the moment is microwave, having come up through the realms of fox hunting and all sorts of other fun and games sort of things. But yeah, very much playing microwave. I've just built a lovely dual bander, 2.3 and 3.4 gig transceiver. Currently putting together a couple of PAs for that and some antennas for our microwave activity days that we tend to have here in Melbourne in VK3. And also play a bit of FT8. Other than that, professionally, I'm a broadcaster and a television editor, as you bit of a quick squiz at all the stuff that's here in the shack. So yeah, that's about me, Hayden. VK7 from VK3.
That seems a good little setup you've got going on there in the background. Give us another look at your broadcast studio.
This is where I go live to air on ABC Radio.
Oh.
I can connect in here, and I heard you guys talking about the internet before. And I must admit, you cannot go live to air on NBN. It just does not work. The latency, it's like working a satellite call from one side of the planet to the other. So we have to connect in by 4G here. So
for our watchers who are not familiar with our internet setup here in Australia, we have primarily now the National Broadband Network, the NBN, which provides our connections via a different variety of ways. Some better than others, but I suppose we're slowly getting there. So thanks, Andrew. That's good. Your 2.4 and 3.4 gig system, that sounds interesting. What transvert is that? Just a homebrew transverter, or is it a commercial one, or?
Using the 2 SG Lab transverters at the moment, the 2.4, 3.4 SG Lab devices, and with a lot of success, a couple of panels, a couple of grid packs, just small and compact enough to head up the hill and work across the bay. We have a very large bay here, and I'm on one side of it, and it's about a 70, 80 kilometre haul to the other side of the bay. and there's a couple of stations up there I work regularly, 3KRD, Robert, and also Neil, VK3BCU, all very active on 3.4 gig here. It's like every night you'll hear signals on the bay around Melbourne on 2.4 and 3.4. More on that band than you will on 1.2 gig, Hayden.
All right. Well, here in Hobart, so for those that are watching and not familiar with where we are, Andrew's located about 550 kilometres north of where we are here in Hobart.
200.
That's right, isn't it?
200. Surely
200.
500.
Well, I think it's 500. I could be wrong.
Oh, sorry.
Long.
That
200
Andrew,
is
yeah.
still, yeah,
Sorry.
wrong Andrew.
Wrong Andrew.
500 kilometres. I was going to say 200 miles maybe. Anyway, we run a 1.2 gigahertz net here every Sunday at 10 o'clock after a broadcast that we have, and that seems to get, I think we had 14 on the weekend, last weekend, so we're getting a lot on that band, which is good, but it'd be good to work across Tasmania, where we are here, separated from Melbourne by a stretch of water, so it's very easy to work across that in the summer months, especially on 2.4 and 3.4 gigs. So hopefully we can work, Andrew, with your new system.
Yeah, all things going according to plan. I put a lovely little 10 watt 2.4 gig amp together at the moment. Just got to fit it into the box. It's amazing how much space you can take up in those 2 rack unit boxes very quickly with a few bits and bobs. So I thought I'd go try my luck with a dual band of Hayden, 2 and 2.4 and 3.4. That fits and works a treat. I just got to get 1 amp in there for 2.4, but had some great success on our last MAD. I did post a couple of videos up on Facebook and on my web channel there for people to go and have a look and see the antics we get up to. But height's everything, as you know. So you get up high like you do on Mount Wellington on some of the videos I've seen from you, and you don't need much power. You just need a relatively good path.
Yeah, we've found that out on quite a few bands, so that's good. Thanks, Andrew, and thanks for joining in today. If you have to drop out, that's fine, but just stick around as long as you can and chime in where you want.
Thanks, Hayden. Yeah, no worries. Maybe I'll send the missus down if she's out of bed already.
Cool. All right, we'll go round again. Let's go round to we'll go round to Tricky. VK7ZBX. What have you been up to?
Many things. Trying to make Zoom work, which is a bit sort of hurried, but there you go.
Doesn't quite just work like Teams, does it?
I don't know. I'm sort of had a moment with Teams on my phone the other night. Murray rings me. He goes, "Have you got Teams on your phone?" Yeah. Well, I digress. Good to have this little group happening. As Hayden said, we've been playing with a few bits and pieces down here.
There's sorry to interrupt. There's
nice.
Andrew's microwave unit, dual band. That makes it look just too easy, doesn't it, Tricky? We've got 2 boxes for that.
Yeah, we'll show you those in a minute. But so a little bit about me. I've been playing radios for about 34 years. I used to play satellites back in the old days of Oscar 10 and Oscar 13. Then got involved with the microsats, a bit of a command station with those. Then built a house and dropped out of radio for a little while and come back. And met a guy called Rex VK7MO who showed us how to do some EME on 10 gigs, and I thought that was pretty flash. And myself and Murray went to a presentation up at the radio club where he sort of gave a demonstration, and we just went, yeah, that all looks pretty manual to me, because everything was done manually. So we thought we could do this with an Arduino, and it still works in progress, but nonetheless, that's right. But nonetheless, look, we've become pretty interested in microwaves, along with some help from Hayden. So we've built 2.4 gig system, 3.4 gig system with some of the Geelong panels. Built a 10 gig system, which has got 3 watts out on a 600 mil dish. Yeah, that's a good picture. I'll just paint some pictures here.
Oh, no, I can't zoom up. Yep.
So how do I share the screen? Just hit share screen, I suppose. And
just hit share screen.
Select the window that you want to share. That one. It's not sharing the screen. Okay, so that's a picture of. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the dish that and Murray and I were at the meeting, and the comment was made, "Oh, would you guys like a 1.8 metre dish to play with?" Yeah. So the next day it arrived on a trailer, and so
it's not a small dish.
So look,
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. Murray and I came up with a bit of a plan to sort of try and make the thing portable. So luckily, both being reasonably handy, sort of fabricated people, we sort of threw something together quite quickly, and it seems to sort of work. We've just got to get encoders and things on it to position it. Hopefully that will be really good. Just
To be clear,
down.
this is to track the moon, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. Well,
Well,
10
actually, the goal is with this to actually make it track fast enough to track your average low Earth orbit as well. And to that end, we made it so that we had full 90-degree elevation.
That's right. Yeah.
And full 360
down further,
azimuth.
I don't know whether there's a picture down further. Possibly not. Anyway, sorry about the awkward scrolling, but yeah. So hopefully that will come to fruition. Next pictures of sort of the 3.4 gig transverter, which sort of is one of the Geelong panels in a case with a sequencer, and suppose I could do that. So that's just got a relay and what's the mini kit sequencer, and the WiMAX amplifier, the 30-watt jobby, which does in fact give out about 30 watts. So that's the 3.4 gig setup, and then the 2.4 portable, going portable in my ute.
Going portable's always fun, especially when there's snow on the ground.
Especially when there's snow on the ground, yeah. In fact, they've closed Mount Wellington right now, Hayden.
Yeah. So due to the pandemic.
The pandemic.
There's something wrong with your steering wheel in that car.
No. I must have it mirrored.
On the right side.
Are you on the right side of the road, though?
Yeah. You don't want to be on the wrong side up there. So this is a 2.4 gig transverter setup that I put together, which has one of the SG Labs transverters. Again, the ubiquitous mini kit sequencer. And it's put into an old Phillips 814 chassis. So it's got a really nice sort of heat sink on the back and a little bit of room. And that's one of the Spectrian amp modules from Pyro Joe in the States, who I think had a bunch of those Spectrian amps that I think had 4 of these boards in them, plus a small one to drive the 4. They're all designed for 2.3 gigs, I think.
These all come from US, didn't they?
Yeah, I can't remember where the guy was. Pyro Joe used to be his eBay. But that at 28 volts gives 50 watts out on 2.4, which is pretty nice.
Cool.
So yeah, Hayden's been pretty helpful in getting all that sort of happening. Bit of stuff on.
Hey, Tricky.
Gigs. Yeah.
Tricky. How do you get your 28 volts in the field?
Easy.
28 volts in the field. Yeah, it's called a Honda.
Ah, okay.
It's a Honda voltage stepper upper.
All right. I was just wondering whether you rated 12 volt to 28 volt DC, but all right.
No, look, there was lots of discussion. That's a good point about field day operation. And yeah, I sort of decided probably at the outset that I was going to try and use 240 volts. So
just on the Honda, maybe we should relate the story of one of the recent field days of the Honda saving the day.
Well, yes. Okay, so I could probably just do that. Whew. If I got my ugly mug back. Yes, Hayden and I were playing field days, and we borrowed a generator from work. was all really good. We tested it out before, hadn't we? And it worked quite fine.
Mm.
And we were busy working lots of people. In fact, Hayden was making quite a
six meters was open.
Yeah.
So there was quite a lot of stations to be worked on 6 meters.
So Hayden's busily working all these stations on 6 meters, and all of a sudden everything sort of stopped, and we sort of quickly heard the generator go brrr, and stop. It's like, oh, really?
And all the radios went off.
And all the radios went off. So it's like, oh, what's happened? As we walked towards the generator, there was a bit of oil on the ground, which is never a good sign. Generators and oil outside of the generator. So what had happened is, obviously, in the trip up the mountain in the back of the car, the oil filler cap had worked its way loose, and being under a bit of load, it had popped out and sprayed a bit of oil out, and then and hence the low pressure alarm had sort of turned the generator off. So
it was no longer under pressure anymore.
No longer under pressure. So it was good, actually. It saved the generator, so that was good. But yeah, with a bit of a phone call to Rex, he brought up a little Honda EU10, and it just went perfectly. So it's a pretty good testament to those little generators. So yeah, so note to self, make sure all the caps are screwed on and everything's all good. And take rags to clean up oil.
Thanks, Tricky.
Yeah,
that's good. We might do we'll do a bit of a shack tour later on.
Okay.
We'll go back round the group a bit later. You'll notice I'm changing my virtual backgrounds all the time too, so it's a cool feature of Zoom. As you can see, the antenna that I was tuning up was very good.
It's just finished. I suspect you had that plugged into a dummy load, Hayden.
No, actually, that is a genuine. That was my 6 meter Yagi, which, if I bring that up, that bottom antenna. So it worked very, very well. So we'll go around to who's the next? Peter, VK7PD.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Oh, good. Well, my name's Peter, call sign, as Hayden said, VK7, Papa Delta. I've been licensed since 1965, haven't been active all that time, forced changes of employment and changes of address and so on, but I'm retired now, and I'm concentrating on the higher bands, which I've always done. But I've ventured from 6 and 2 meters up to 70 centimeters. I now operate on 2.4 gigs, 3.4 gigs, 10 gigs, and I'd like to do more than 10 gigahertz. I do take part in field days with Hayden and with Richard and with Rex. I join in the 1296 net every Sunday morning. I have to do it digitally because where I live is in Launceston, northern Tasmania, closer to the north coast. So I'm some 200 kilometres north of the Hobart guys. However, I can get through to Richard and to Rex 1296. We've done that reliably now in the case of Rex for some years. And it's a good enough path when conditions are right to have a voice contact with Rex sometimes. Haven't done that with Richard yet. As I'm only using a laptop, it's a bit awkward to do a shack and antenna tour, so I might save that for another time. But I have antennas up for in the backyard for 6 meters, 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and for 1296 megs. So I use for that, and for the other bands I mentioned, I have to do that in the field, running portable, which brings up some interesting antics at times, wind and snow and so on. I was hoping to aim the camera out the window here and show the mountains that we run portable on, but they're enshrouded in cloud at the moment. It's just stopped raining and there's some watery sunshine coming through. So maybe that's enough from me, Hayden. Let's give everyone else a turn.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, it's the same down here. It's been raining all night, so it's not the best weather for going outside, which is good when you're under self-isolation. You'd rather have it pouring down with rain than going out in sunshine, I'm sure. Thanks, Peter. So may as well go to the other Peter, Peter S, Peter VK4EA. We'll look at him scramble for the mute button.
Yeah,
There we go.
That's right. Now I'm talking. We've got used to muting myself now in meetings and stuff. So I'm now working at home for the foreseeable future. Yeah, so my name's Peter, VK4EA, my Australian course, and I also hold KQ4 Papa Sierra for Jason's benefit. And I'm a volunteer examiner for the VEA and also an AMC assessor for Australian licenses. Been licensed since 2000, but had an interest in radio since I was a teenager when I got onto CB. I think most of us started there. And was in the land mobile HF business for a while with Codan's competitor, not Barrett. So yeah, had an interest in radio, but now I'm an electrical engineer with a local power company. So I don't work with radio, so I can enjoy playing with radio. My interest at the moment is microwaves, and had a long-standing interest in amateur television and also APRS. But lots of other stuff gets my attention at times as well. But I really love building stuff. I don't think I build it very well, but I still build it, and it kind of works. So I'm pretty happy with that. So yesterday I had a chat with VK4UH over a 20k path with a new 5.7 gig system and a big dish that I won at a Gipstick raffle some years ago. So I live in Brisbane, which is the capital of Queensland for the Americans on the channel. And we are in full lockdown now. Borders are closed and can't go out and can't do anything. So I'm watching lots of Netflix and drinking lots of beer and building lots of stuff. So yeah, that's me.
That seems to be what I think the general consensus is at the moment. Thanks, Peter. Andrew, VK7DW.
Oh, g'day. I'll just check. Can you hear me okay? I'm just using the iPad.
Got you fine.
Okay, no worries. Good morning all. VK7DW. Andrew, as Hayden said, and I guess I would see myself as a fairly new ham, been licensed probably coming up to about 5 years now. So during that time, been tinkering with a lot of different facets of the hobby and having a lot of fun out in the field. Especially of late, which is good fun. Projects I'm working on at the shack at the minute. I'm trying to get a tower up in my backyard, which is in the middle of suburbia, without upsetting the XYL and the neighbours. So I'm working on that, and my plan is to put some satellite antennas up there, and perhaps some of the other microwave bands as well. So that's what I'm working on. And the other, I do enjoy HF, but unfortunately, like most people, have a lot of QRM. So I'm currently working on a few things. I'm building a Herms loop for receive-only purposes, and using a few different things, such as amplifier kits, which came from LZ1AQ, and a few other bits and pieces like that. Also, I've got a little modification there for the IC7300 to make that useful for receive only. And another experimentation, I've also got sorry for jumping around, I've got a little kit from VK5 Tango Mic, just a noise canceller. So that's what I've been working on. Like a lot of people, working from home. Now I've got a young son, so we're homeschooling him as well in between my partner doing night shifts. So busy times, but it's just luck. My home workstation just happens to be in the shack. So if I get distracted by ham radio, it's all good. So that's about from me at the minute there, Hayden. I'll put it back to you. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Andrew. What are you sharing with us there, Andrew 3FS?
You're on mute, Andrew.
Yeah, There we go. I'm just playing around with the software, Hayden. But yeah, that's just Google Maps for those that can see it. That's where I am, just south of Melbourne, which is about sort of 60k south of Melbourne. This is probably for the benefit of those outside of VK. But if I actually, Hayden's miles away. Hayden's down across. See, you just keep going. And whoops, got to hit the minus button a bit. And Hayden's down yonder. Now there's our hall, if you can see that.
So I'm down there where Hobart is, and Peter and Andrew 7DW are where Launceston is. So myself, Murray, and Tricky, we're all down in Hobart. And Peter 4EA is way up the coast.
Keep going. How far? Tell me when to stop. Oh, I'm zooming now.
There we go.
Now, how many time zones?
Sunny Brisbane, right, Peter? Cool. Thanks, Andrew. Anyway.
That's all right. I'll keep playing.
Now over to Murray. What's been happening?
Well, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, and whole working from home things. That's working out okay. Fortunately, in one of those industries where we can do most of our stuff from home. Our Teams video meetings have been a constant part of my day. I'll give you a little, let's see if I can move my camera here without breaking too many things. This is my home workstation.
the home setup.
And as some of you know, a couple of years ago, I moved and dismantled my amateur radio equipment, and so to that end, last weekend I actually started to bring some into my home office, and here you can see the total extent of my radios so far, which is just some FM radios to get into the local repeaters, and my trusty 23 centimetre Yaesu at the top. I actually got quite motivated last weekend and actually dragged some coaxes down the wall, put some 90-degree elbows on the back, and put them out through some clips or wall plates.
Very nice.
And it's probably the most organised I've ever had as far as getting into the shack. You can see there one of the wall plates with my digital radio just hanging off the end of it, and it's like, well, I was going to post a picture of it, hashtag connectors cost more than the radio.
Very good.
But, that's the sum total of my activity. I've managed to get radios on the aerials on the outside of the house to run all of those at this point. And my project this weekend was to string up a HF antenna between a tree and a tower I've now put up in the backyard. I'll probably try and have some pictures of that for next time, but it's pretty rainy here today, so I'm going to guess that's not actually going to happen.
Might be another inside day.
Yes, I think so. But yeah, so at least I can have the local repeaters on while I'm working from home, and sometimes you've got to reach over and shut those off when you're in the middle of a call and somebody starts yakking. Been surprised how much activity there's been on the digital radio. Actually, whenever you turn the volume up, there's just a constant stream, and it's just sitting right behind my laptop there, so it sort of lights up every time there's some activity, so you can just sort of reach over and turn the volume up. So hopefully some HF stuff to come, and I actually discovered you guys probably already know about it, but we're actually not on amateur radio, so I can give a plug to a place that's commercial. But I was looking for some connectors because I needed some 90-degree adapters. I needed some N-type bulkhead through connectors and various bits and pieces. And I actually got a bunch of connectors from this place called telcoantennas.com.au.
Oh, yeah.
And some of you probably already know about them, but they appeared to be reasonable.
We buy a bit of stuff off them at work.
Do we? Oh, there you go. I didn't even know that. But they're reasonable quality connectors. And while I was on there selecting stuff to go in my shopping basket, I eventually bought Tricky a set of crimpers for doing LMR 400.
Excellent work.
And they were like $35. I'm like, oh, best have a set of those instead of driving half an hour each way to go and borrow the ones from the workshop.
Kev, we've just sorry to interrupt, Murray. We've just been joined by Kevin now as well, VK4UH. So you can hear us, it sounds like.
Yeah, hi guys.
Morning, Kevin.
Sorry, go on, Murray.
Yeah, so that was my find of the week. I bought a few crimp connectors and a few through connectors and a few right angle ones for the wall plates, and yeah, they arrived sort of like the next day, which is most impressive.
That's good. That's good timing now. So we'll throw it round to Kevin to introduce yourself, your call sign, and what you've been up to lately. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, you got me now?
Got you now.
Yeah, that's it. I just unmuted, so I didn't capture the audio. I'm Kevin, VK4UH up in Brisbane. Sort of grounded at the moment from my medical practice. Paradoxically, because they've closed all of the private hospitals where I normally work, there's actually nothing for me to do, which sounds crazy at the time, but there we are. So I've been using that time to do a bit of radio stuff. Been working on a bit of microwave gear that's been sitting around, not quite finished projects, and my EME dish its septum is nearly ready to be put back in, and I've been spending a bit of time on the air. Been working across to North and South America on 10 meters FT8 this morning, so there's been plenty to do. And I was on the Meteor Scatter net this morning. That was quite good too. Lots of stations on. It was great to hear everybody. Back to you, boss.
I don't know if I'm the boss. Sounds good. Sounds good, Kevin. I was going to throw it back around to Jason. He's been very patiently sitting there, and you've got an awesome background, by the way. How have you set that up? Because your shack's quite detailed as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty dynamic. So let's see here. Will it switch to me? It hasn't switched to me. There.
Yeah, it switched.
Okay, I think it's on my end. So yeah, so I'm Jason, KM6FAK. If you're just tuning in here in America, I'm about 60, 70 miles from San Francisco, so about an hour and a half inland there. So things are going pretty good. I'm actually continuing to work. I'm an instrument technician, and I work at a chemical manufacturing plant that supports the local municipalities as well as agriculture. So I've been fortunate to still wake up at 4 a.m. and come home at 5 p.m. So, long days, but I'm used to that. Meanwhile,
is that fortunate waking up at 4 a.m.?
Yeah. It is early, but the wife is home for the most part, anyways, but then now she gets to be a teacher. So that is something that really, takes a lot to get used to. And, for that matter, we're approaching our summer in which kids would be graduating, and well, we're not sure. We think it might be done. They might be already graduated. So that's kind of what's going on here locally. But radio stuff, a fair amount of radio. I try to play HF as much as I can, but between commuting to work, I'm on a lot of repeaters. Well, I should say I'm on repeaters a lot, and 2 of them are my favorite. And then in the last probably year, I started kind of hanging out and, breaking, kind of developing this group called the 2 Meter Crew. And what the 2 Meter Crew is all about is kind of just keeping 2 meters alive, which would be both repeaters as well as simplex. Now, is the 146.520, is that also a national call simplex for you guys?
Our national call simplex frequency is 146.500.
Oh, okay.
So 20 kilohertz lower.
Yeah, wait. We're 146.520. So how about that? Okay. Yeah, so let's see. I think I can.
By the way, we've got 22 on my stream, and I think you've got about 13 on your stream. So good morning or good evening wherever you are.
Yeah, that's a good point. So if people are just trying to figure out what the heck is going on. What do they see? This is a Zoom hangout, and both Hayden and I are live streaming it on our channels at the same time. So, if you're here on my channel, definitely go check out his Ham Radio DX. He does fantastic work, as you can probably notice. His other friends there in this Zoom, a lot of microwave stuff, which is things, a lot of us, I can't say a lot, but the people I'm directly chatting with frequently, nobody I know does the microwave. So I think that's really neat to learn, although you quickly realize, well, that might be more gear you got to buy.
But it definitely is.
So let me see. I'll share.
And for those watching on my channel, check out Ham Radio TV. It's got plenty of good videos, lots of good. Kevin? I always forget his call sign. He does a lot of your videos with how to do things, how to build things.
Yeah, that's Kevin N6VLF. So Zoom just went away, but I'm guessing you see a picture?
Yep.
Okay. So this was a few months ago. We were celebrating, or having. It was quite the celebration, though. There was 25 some people that came up on top of this mountain here, and this is Winter Field Day. So that is not put on by the AERRL. That is put on by another group of organization. But it was a lot of fun up there on top of Mount Diablo, which is a local mountain, right around 4,000 feet. And we mostly, we were attempting HF, but we were everywhere. We were on 2 meters and 70 centimeters and no microwave. But that was a lot of fun. So, handful
How
of
do you
photos.
coordinate your field day? So everyone's operating from the same spot, but are they on different bands?
Right, we do. So we kind of had a driver's meeting, and we try to put as much planning in as possible, letting people kind of volunteer for different bands, or depending on what their equipment was. But once we got up there, a few times your radio kind of gets lit up when someone doesn't realize you're still on 20 meters, and they also want to be on 20 meters or maybe 40 meters. There was some challenges from local antennas from the commercial side. That was a bit of a noise generator for HF, so that was kind of a bummer for us, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, the fact that you get up there and you're able to set everything up, it's just so much fun. And that's kind of where the crew came from. And I don't have these photos in any great order, but if you kind of want to see the whole event, I did shoot a video, so I recommend go check out that video. I do kind of a nice vlog, if you will, capture all of our activities, and you'll hear a little bit of us on the air. But I do have a website I was going to show people. So this is the 2 Meter Crew website, and the idea is we are not a club. It's not really an organization. It is just a group of guys that love radio, and we figured, we should probably organize somewhat so we can have certain aspects of communication and sharing links and chatting. So there's some kind of form features on this website, and that is 2metercrew.com. Facebook, of course, also a Facebook group, 2metercrew.com. And then you'll also find on this channel, we live stream. Let me.
I put a link in my in the chat on Ham Radio DX to the video of the Winter Field Day that you did. It's a really good one that I've watched.
Yeah, thanks. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, so recently we've been doing we call it an anti-net, because again, like I said, we're not a club or an organization. A lot of us are in other formal sanctioned clubs, but this group of guys that we call ourselves the 2 Meter Crew, and really anybody can be the 2 Meter Crew. We started doing a tech net on Wednesdays, so that's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. local to Pacific time here. And I think that lines up to what, 2 o'clock your time, Hayden?
What time was it again?
Well, I just remember back the other day when I messaged you. So it's 7 Pacific Standard Time out here.
That'd be around about 1 o'clock, I think, our time, 1 p.m.
Okay, yeah.
Australian Eastern Daylight Time.
Yeah, and what's that That's interesting. It hasn't caught up yet. Let me see here.
We got Cole in as well, VK4MIL. How are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
There we go. Yeah, so if you're available, if you're not at work there in the VK, you can join us, and you'll see there's previous live streamed events that we've done. And so we are live on our local repeater, and our local repeater was recently outfitted with an all-star node. Also, we have Echolink tied in, and then recently we got DMR working through the all-star node. So I haven't went down that road yet, but the amount of people and talent and skill is remarkable. Really, I end up becoming more of a YouTube production guy as I stream this, and I utilize a mixing board, and I recently built a PC, which was a lot of fun. I just kind of divorced Apple. I just couldn't afford her anymore. But yeah, so I kind of am really getting into almost like this, production guy or team, or if you will. But yeah, so check us out if you're available Wednesday our time. Like I said, there's a lot of ways to jump in, say hello. So at that point, you would be live on YouTube and live on our local repeater. And then of course, our repeater has maybe 100 or so mile radius. And everyone will hear you on that as well. So I don't have the information readily available to give you the all-star numbers, but if you just go back to a previous live stream, which was just this last Wednesday, I figured out, I scroll it across the bottom of the screen, so you'll pick up all the information you need just there. Yeah. But yeah, it's great hearing you guys. I mean, you're on the opposite side of the planet, and it's pretty interesting because we're all on this blue marble together, and it sounds like a lot of things affect us very similar. Now, the one thing, do you guys do daylight savings time?
Yes, we do.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Till tomorrow.
Till tomorrow.
Parts of the country do, others don't.
Yeah, so that's kind of funny, right?
Bit too tricky for those Queenslanders. They can't get their head around it.
And so this might ruin everything, but if I tell Zoom to grab this other camera, will it turn on? Because I do have multiple cameras in the shack. No, it says failed. I was afraid of that. Yeah, I wasn't quite ready to do a shack tour, but let me see. Am I going to be able to grab that now? There, that one's back.
Yep.
In the shack, my main radio really is the Yaesu FT991A. It's been a fantastic radio, shack in the box. And then I got a few older Motorola commercial stuff, and then some simple tuners and amplifiers, and really it's the PC and the mixing board that I've really been spending on. And then you did ask about this, so this is a green screen, so it is green.
Oh, yep.
And previously to the green screen, I had camo netting, and where we are is we're just in my garage, so yeah. Magic of that, boom, you can be anywhere. and that's actually where my shack is, because with a wife and young kids, utilizing a room in the house, you end up making a lot of noise. And it's kind of great. It's great to have your own space, but it does get hot and it does get cold. Sorry for your weather there. Today was like 68 degrees. We went on a beautiful bicycle ride. I actually just picked up a bicycle for my youngest daughter today, so sorry for your weather. We're really enjoying an early summer this way. But yeah, back to you. Let me know if anyone's got any questions or whatever. But this is great.
We do have a question in the chat, which we might get to in a second. But I was just going to say that on your channel you do have a couple of videos where you do have a tour of your shack. I'm especially enviable of your audio setup that you've got with your microphone and the mixing desk, and how you've set all that up. And I think you've got that wired into your 991 as well, so that would sound very sweet on air. We do have a question which is from VK2LHC, which is, I'm dealing with RFI that appears to be disconnecting NBN router from the network. It's losing line sync when I transmit on 40 meters. Has anyone encountered such a problem?
Needs better earth.
How close is the antenna?
It's probably fairly close. We'll see what the response is back there. But
It's a common problem, Hayden. I've had it here ever since.
and this is fiber to the node, yeah.
I'm running the DSL, VDSL, so I'm on fiber to the node, which and it's a common problem. Everyone over here in our radio club has the same issue. You put a signal up on 40 meters, it'll take out NBN without a problem in the world. So there's a couple of modems which are a little bit more forgiving, but I think Ross, the guy who runs the toy shop here in Melbourne, he's got a list of those good modems.
We've got another question.
Use frequencies above 144 meg.
He said the rig is earthed and it's fiber to the node. So, yeah, I guess the other things that you can do is is that you laughing twice, Cole? Your mouth wasn't moving though.
that might have been me.
A bit of an echo.
That might have been me.
I always like to repeat myself, Hayden.
Marky Shaw, hey guys, love the videos. Discovered your channel looking for experiments on 1 and 2 gigs. What benefits have you seen working at high frequencies? Greetings from Ocean City, Maryland, K3WOC. Benefits operating at high frequency seems to be the challenge, I think. Is that the general consensus? Building things?
Yeah, you know, I've had a little experience with that. When I first started getting my HF shack going, I have these touch lights up in our bedroom. Very convenient. You know, you just touch the metal and they come on, a dim, a medium, a bright. And yeah, it was the first night I'm down in the shack. It might have been when I got the amplifier too. I can't remember. Just running an Amtron AL811. But the wife is calling me saying the lights are flickering as I'm in at the garage here. It's a 2-story house, so I run up and they stop. So then I said, wow, I don't know what to tell you. So then I come back down, start talking again on, I think I might have been on 40 meters. And again, it happened. So, she was convinced we had a poltergeist going on. But then later realizing, HF can do weird things. I've heard of killing televisions and cable boxes, microwaves, touch lights. I had also a smoke detector that seemed to fix with some ferrite, kind of choke it out. But ultimately, from what I understand, it's obviously if you're fairly close where your antenna, where the radiation is, and then depending on what your power is, and then what's your SWR, because a lot of people have a antenna tuner. Great. But that antenna tuner is not technically tuning your antenna, is it? It is just tricking your radio. So maybe your antenna really needs some love. Utilizing an analyzer, really try to get that SWR down. You can also do different things with chokes on the ballons and different applications like that as well to make sure you don't get anything coming back down. Unfortunately, when you got these little gremlins, you almost have to start with some of the very much technical textbook. This is how you build a shack, and see if that helps you. Maybe a grounding rod if you don't have that. That's something some people overlook. Bonding all their equipment and then getting that outside their shack and getting a ground into the ground. And my understanding and preference is not to use the house electrical ground. I want this separate ground kind of thing. So yeah, maybe if you just start chipping away, find the easiest and the cheapest things to do first. I would say go after that antenna and see what it's tuned without that antenna tuner.
I've just seen a very funny comment in your chat from Chris Brown. 2 meters in my truck sometimes locks up my radar detector. Are they legal over there?
Personal problem right there.
I can tell you back in the day, some 40 odd years ago, when I used to use 2 meter AM back in Wales, I used to come through on my mother's gas cooker. There was obviously a sort of diode contact somewhere between two of the metal parts, and when I used to transmit, they'd come out of the gas ring. So I used to walk down and take my mother's meat tenderizer, clatter the top of the gas cooker, and it would stop. And my mother was very impressed.
You're showing your age, Kevin.
I know it's not a new problem with the NBN. This has always happened.
Well, we switched off analog television. When was it that? Oh, quite a few years ago now. And that solved a lot of our interference issues. I think since we went to digital television, we haven't had many interference issues to TV as such.
Oh, that has been good.
Cole, you haven't
Yes.
introduced yourself yet.
Oh, hi, Cole, VK4MIL in Brisbane.
You guys are an hour behind us, right?
No, not really.
Till tomorrow.
Hayden, I'm an ex-Victorian. I love daylight saving.
Ex-Victorian.
Yeah.
Do you follow the proper football code?
Yes, I do.
But there's no
Brisbane
chance he goes for
Lions.
your stupid club, Hayden.
Oh, who is your team, Cole?
Brisbane Lions.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not right
yeah.
for a Victorian.
No, well, it's either that or Collingwood.
Oh, that'll please Murray.
Absolutely. Good second choice there, buddy.
Well,
thanks, mate.
For a while there, well, for a week or a weekend, we had Australian rules football was just about the only sporting code you could watch in the whole world, and I know that some Americans really took a bit of a shine to it. Jason, they were quite interested in our strange form of football.
Yeah, we're hurting bad over here for sports. Everyone is pretty upset. That's, it's funny. That is a billion-dollar industry, right? Sports, but we're all under only essential workers must go into work, and I'm still going to work, and I don't really have a whole lot of college education per se. I'm a technician by trade, but yet I'm the one that's essential, and I don't make near the money our athletes do. So how about that?
Yeah, we're sort of a bit sports starved here in Australia. We very much like our sport. Yeah, well, I've run out of things to say. But Tricky, actually, no, we were going to do shack tours, weren't we? Tricky, show us your shack.
Okay, this could be fun. Grab the webcam. So, the main radio spot is over there. So, the radio you can see is 9700. We'll pan the other way. 9700 there. Over the other side is a 9100 and a few other bits and pieces. I'm sort of having a bit of a tidy up because Hayden made a rash statement that he's going to make me do a shack tour on Wednesday night for the radio club thing. So I'm trying to tidy up. It's not working, as you can see. The bright orange thing there is the new 23 centimetre linear. So I can try and maybe even... Wow, this could be fun. Okay, so that's the 23 centimetre linear. I'll even take the lid off. Who has lids on things? Ooh.
Lids on things means that they're complete, right?
The screws are right next to it, but anyway, so that's the inside of that. I'm pretty happy with that. It works particularly well. So yeah, probably a bit better.
Is that a QRP amplifier, is it?
It is, yes. Compared to some, probably.
It's not a kilowatt.
No, so there's a linear over there for 6, 9100, 9700. Then there's a scanner and some bits and pieces. Satellite antenna tracking device and an empty case. Computer where I was sitting.
Oh, look, a bit of a plug for ham radio TV there.
Yeah, how about that?
Very good.
Already up.
Then there's a sort of bench beside it, which has sort of got junk on it, but that's sort of normally where I sort of build things. Building a lot at the moment. And then there's a little bit of a spot over there. Seeing the distance, the 2.4 and 3.4 gig transmitters. Really sorry about the video quality.
Look at Andrew's. Andrew's got his radios paired up there.
Shit, actually I noticed it before. few trays with bits and pieces, and then yeah, that's sort of really about it.
What's running on the screen there, Andrew? You've got an SDR or something?
Got to think. No, that's just Whisper. I think on 2 meters at the minute, Hayden.
Oh, it is too, and you've got. That's quite a nice setup in the shack. Large screen.
Hayden, if I may, I
it's
want to.
just pretty basic compared to the other guys, but yeah, it's 9700 and 7300 working there, and outside I've basically just got a G5RV and Station Master vertical and a X50 Diamond 2 and 70. So that's pretty simple at the minute. But as I said, working on the tower hopefully. But yeah, all good fun, enough to spend enough time with anyway.
Well, that's what everyone's got plenty of time at the moment. Could certainly do shack upgrades and project builds. Peter was going to show us out your shack, weren't you? Yours is quite, how did we put it, detailed?
Oh, mine. I can't do that at the moment because the battery went flat and
Wrong.
I go wandering around. Or is
Wrong Peter.
Oh, wrong Peter, sorry.
VK4 Peter.
Good. That's me out.
Alrighty, you hearing me okay?
Yep.
Alrighty, so yeah, I've got the venerable 9700 on the bench here. I just recently moved it to the bench. I got a nice Codan radio and a Pactal modem as well. Just got this delivered the other day. This is the RFAM design positioning system for my EME setup that I'm currently putting together. ATV transmitter, FM, and some satellite TV receivers. This is my HF and 6 meter radio. So that's a HV SDR. And I use this console, which is a Raspberry Pi based device that I bought from somewhere in India. I can't remember where it is now. So that's still a PC. So yeah, that's firing up open HP SDR at the moment. I'm working from home, so that's my work computer, a few FM radios, D-Star and DMR. Got a very high-powered PDP-11 computer running everything.
A what?
That's a third-scale PDP-11 that's run by Raspberry Pi, fully functional.
Wow. Okay, so
yeah, I couldn't resist.
I'm old enough to have used one of those, but
I couldn't resist. Had to get it. And I've got an Altair 8080 clone as well, which is right. So this is the ATV repeater, a local ATV repeater, which is not working. Well, it's working. I could turn it on, but we're still waiting for the site access, and I'm trying to work out why my ports down transmitter isn't working with the old digital receiver. So that's probably going to go, and I'll get the new ones on its way. This is 3K4 RTT, 6 meter and 2 meter beacon. I'm currently adding a remote control Ethernet control device to it, so that we had an issue over summertime with it locking up. So I'm going to. It was built by a few of us. I didn't actually build any of it, but a few of us around in the area put this together. Got a pretty chunky PA for 6 and for 2 that is. And on the back is the PA for 6. And I'm going to use Ubiquity links. This is my assembly mess, testing mess. I'm currently putting one of these lovely Arduino-based rotator controllers, K3NG based Arduino controllers on that for this rotator, and that'll be my 2.4 and 3.4 gig home station. Now, this is I'm cleaning up as always.
I love what you've done with the place.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to work out. It's sitting there closer to the bin, so it's getting closer to the bins.
That's how we know he's a real ham, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Authentic.
That's authentic through and through.
This is my
and the unused boat just to complete it.
Oh, it hasn't got much shit in it. It's pretty good actually. This is my 10 gig portable setup, so it's 3 watt Demi PA and DB6 NT transverter with an EME, VK5 EME sequencer. This is my attempt at a periscope antenna, which I tried to use at the last field day. So I put that on top of my Clark mast and tried to use that as a reflector, but it didn't quite work out. I've got more work to do on that. Currently on the bench at the moment is the HF amp. So this
What's
is
the rotator you've got sitting down below that?
Oh, I'll get to that. That's my pride and joy.
That looks serious.
It is serious, and a considerable bloody expense as well. So this is a EB104 Motorola reference design 600 watt MOSFET amp that I've just recently repackaged. So I'm just working out the relay logic for the changeover at the moment. So I can get about 900 watts out of that guy on CW.
You're pretty handy with the relay logic, too, aren't you, Pete?
Oh, I should be, otherwise I'll hand in my engineering degree. And this is a old broadcast transmitter PA, which will work on 2 meters. So that's next. It's a 48 volt power supply to go with it. I've got another one of these, which is for 6. It's already in the box as well. So when I finish that, I'll put the 6 here and I'll start working on those 2 together. So I'll have reasonable sort of power. And this is the RF ham design positioning system for my 10 gig EME system, which is going to be that dish, the big offset dish there, which is X satellite internet, I think. And that's going to go on the roof, rotated by this guy, so it's got full sun and moon tracking, and it's chunky. It's not the biggest one they sell. They do sell bigger ones. I was quickly run up the stairs and I showed the 5.7 gig system I used yesterday with Kevin VK4UH. Monster truck.
Nice truck.
We've got 20. While Peter's doing that, we've got 20 on the stream, my end, 15 on Jason's end. So we got some good comments coming through. Look at that wire management.
Cable management.
I have no color.
This is the 5.7 QRO system. So I got this PA from VK3 XPD. And this has got quite a bit of cred, this PA, because it actually set the record between Norfolk and Norfolk on top end in New Zealand. So Kevin VK4 has used this PA on both ends. And I've got a preamp and horn mounted at the lead horn. So this is the big dish. And I can tell you that's like a laser, that thing, that frequency. And that'll probably do me, Hayden.
Thanks, Peter. What a shack.
Yeah.
I was going to ask a few people about what they were thinking about this radio, the 705. Are you looking forward to that coming out?
I did get my other camera running. If you want, I can show my shack a little bit more.
Oh, yep, do that.
All right, let me switch to this here. And let's see here. So is that coming in?
Yep.
Yeah, so, here I am.
With your green screen.
Yeah. So there's the radio, the Yaesu, and I've got a selectable Kenwood, so that's kind of nice. It's overexposed, I can tell. But that's fun because I can see all the different antennas. It has different couplers, A, B, C, so I can use this for multiple bands. And then the mixing board, and then various tuners and amplifier. And this is a recent addition. This is pretty interesting. So I'm guessing you guys utilize PL tones. And so the PL tone was pushing into YouTube with a tremendous hum. Well, a 127.3 hum. Anyways, that filters out the hum on YouTube. And then you can see I'm in the garage. So, BMW GS over there and a toolbox and another toolbox. And then it goes green screen. And then, a couple monitors going. So that's the light, big old light there. Big thanks to my friend Chris. And then a boom and some Motorola gear. And then down here is the PC I recently built. And I carry that in and out of my house. Because I use it for the house too, but it works out pretty decently. So yeah, so that's my shack. Really nothing too fancy, but it works out pretty good.
What's the mic you're using?
This is an AKG, and it's a condenser mic. And the idea of a condenser mic is I'm able to move around a little bit more. You don't have to get so close to it per se. But yeah, I mean, everything just comes into this mixing board, which, maybe $100 US or so. And then I also utilize, check out that rat's nest. Oh yeah. I'm going to clean it up one day. But utilizing some DI boxes I found are very important, where it gives you that isolation. And then I also have another homebrew one over there. You can't quite see it. But But yeah, so it's a lot of fun to figure out all this video and audio stuff. We're actually getting ready to have our next meeting as far as our local club that I'm a part of. We're going to have a Zoom meeting very similar to this, presentations. It's going to be both on the repeater RF and on the internet, YouTube, what have you. So yeah, that's one thing I can really say. It really steps up the amount of fun is getting mixing board, making a custom cable for your radio. It's hard to find that cable you need because then what I utilize is this Heil trigger is how I trigger then the radio. So in other words, when we're doing these nets, I'm able to talk on YouTube just like this, and then I just simply hit the hammer, and then I'm everywhere on RF at the same time. So maybe something for you to think about, Hayden, because it gets a lot of fun when you can start tying RF and repeaters into live streams.
Actually, one thing I will show that I was going to was my station mainly consists of portable, but also a remote station, which you would have seen in a couple of my other videos. So I'll just fire that up now so I can show off my shack.
Yeah, recently I've been thinking about getting a matching shirt and like a ski mask. So then all you would see would be my eyeballs because everything would be green.
Okay, so that share screen should be working now, I think.
Nice.
This is the RSBA1 software that controls the ICOMS radios. This will control the 7300 and also the 9700. And at the moment, it's just sitting on our local 2 meter chat channel. Why have I got no control over that? Oh,
that is way cool. That is one thing I lack in the shack running this Yaesu. I take another webcam and I point it at the screen.
Looks like there's
it's pretty rudimentary.
Oh, that was a bit loud. Let's see if I can. I don't know if there'll be anyone on our local repeater at the moment. Oh, no, that's a bit high in frequency. So if someone was to call out on the, actually Tricky, you can talk back to us. Give us a call on the repeater.
VK7HH, VK7ZBX.
Very cool.
So yeah, that's what I use to operate the 9700 remotely. And there's also, if I share this, it's also got the spectrum scope.
Eye candy.
Yeah, just give us another call, Richard.
VK7HH, VK7ZBX. VK7PD on channel.
So that's Peter now calling back.
The other end of the state.
Other end of the state.
So anyway, that's my shack. Very, very bland.
No, that's great.
Hayden, just a quick question from me from 4UH up here. I can only see 9 panels on my display at the moment in gallery view. I don't know if that's a feature of using a tablet or not. So if there's more than 9, is there any way of changing who we're seeing, or is that asking for too much?
I think if you swipe to the right, you'll get the 10th person.
That's it. That's the answer. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a bit limited on the mobile device with Zoom.
Ryan swiping left again. That's a worry.
What? The microphone? No, not yet. Now I've got the microphone again. Now I can't show you around my shack, unfortunately, because I'm not in the shack. I'm up in the kitchen. But I've thrown a picture as my background to show one of the projects we've just finished up here.
The real reason that Kevin can't show around the shack is you can't walk in there.
That's true. Everybody's welcome in the shack, but one at a time, gentlemen, please. It's a bit crowded. So this what you see behind is one of the projects that we just finished. This is up on the deck where I work Peter for his first 9-centimeter contact. This little beastie is a clone of Rex's dish pointing system, and on top of it is my 10 gig EME terrestrial kick-ass high-powered 60-watt 10 gig system. So that's what we've been working on. It's taken a year to get to this point. 600 mil dish, and the pointing apparatus there works on a theodolite tripod, pretty much as I've plagiarized from Rex. It uses a mill rotary table for azimuth. It's got a laser pointer, not laser, a rifle sight pointing system, and it all clips off. So I can take that 10 gig box off and put a 1.2 meter mesh dish on or whatever. Everything all sorts of fits together so you can mix and match all the different bits and pieces. So seeing as I can't show you the shack, I'll just show you the outside shack for the time being.
It looks good, Kevin. Thanks for showing us through that. I'm just trying to unpin the video. There we go. Now I can. I've got your full screen, so it's quite a nice setup. So yeah, it's been quite a good chat here today. I'm not. We've got still got 20 odd on my stream, and I think Jason's got 12 there. Also, a shout out to Harry, who is operates the website Zactech. He's got a lot of good products on there, whisper boards, things like that. So g'day to you, Harry, who's watching. We've got Kevin, ZL1KFM. You got anyone you want to shout out? Jason?
There's a couple guys I see in the chat. I didn't really give any precursor to this because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to support all of this. You know, I'm pulling down and I'm uploading. I would assume quite a bit, but everything seems to be holding. Although one thing I can say, I'm
just ran so smoothly, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. We shouldn't jinx ourselves. But I have noticed I have next to no color in my face on your video, which is kind of weird. I mean, I don't really care, but I look extra white. I mean, because in what I'm seeing, it's almost like reddish. You know, I was outside today mowing the grass and what have you, so I thought that was kind of odd.
Is summer really kicking on over there now? It's getting really hot.
Oh yeah, today was a beautiful day. Yeah, I think we might see a little bit more rain, but we're pretty dry. You know, the joke in California is we have really only a couple seasons. You know, what it is it rains just a little bit, a few months, so things kind of go green, and then we get a lot of sun, and everything goes golden or dead and yellow. And then a lot of fires occur, and there's a lot of black. So, yeah, those are our 3 seasons. But,
yeah, well, we know all about bushfires this last year, don't we, guys?
Mm-hmm. We do.
Are you in the valley, Jason?
What's that?
Are you in the valley?
In a valley?
Yeah. No, when I'm there, I stay in Palo Alto quite a bit in the valley, and it's always 24 degrees.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, so we would be kind of in a valley. That's right, because San Francisco, against the coast, pretty much always stays cooler. And then you go over a couple kind of, they're not large mountain ranges, but it's enough of a hill to where it keeps that nice delta, that breeze off the bay. So yes, it does warm up. I mean, we get well over 100 Fahrenheit, which I think is what, 60 C, something like that? 50?
Not quite, 40.
40? Yeah.
60s. Ooh. 60s
warm,
really
huh?
cooking.
I think I'm confusing that to my computer temperature I'm seeing.
Yeah, no, we regularly get over 40 degrees or 100 Fahrenheit, especially in Queensland, with probably 100% humidity too up there.
No, here there is no humidity. That is our saving grace. No humidity.
You don't know what you're missing out.
Do you want some?
Well, yeah, we do.
Just to remind everybody, we are a group of radio hams, so take everything with a pinch of salt. Okay?
Well, that's more than a pinch.
Oh, a bit of comedy.
He's in the kitchen. He's in the kitchen.
Have you ever used anything out of the kitchen to build something radio related?
I've built a lot of radio gear in the kitchen over the years before I had a Radio Shack, I can tell you. They get a bit bent out of shape if you start using the carving knives for tightening the screws up, I found. I don't understand it myself, but there you go.
I've got I have not personally that I can remember right now, but here recently, one of the guys down this way in the 2 meter crew, he recently put up a pretty good size pole for HF. He was going to do an inverted V, and he realized these are aluminum poles, and he needed to do some kind of separation because he was just planning to do like ladder line, but he didn't want to tie it to the aluminum. So he he found an old P-trap out of a sink, so a plastic, P-trap, and he stuck that on his pole, and then he got his ladder line and his inverted V off of a PVC P-trap. So yeah, he's got, a P-trap 30 feet in the air.
We've used chopping board before, haven't we?
Yeah, I thought that was going down the chopping board route.
Yep.
All right, guys, I got to go. Been great chatting.
Thanks.
Let's do it again, Hayden.
Thanks, Murray. It's been good.
Good to see you, Murray.
Yeah, you too, Peter. Catch you later, guys.
See ya.
See ya. Great meeting you.
Well, I think it's probably pretty close to start wrapping it up anyway, unless anyone else has got something else they want to add.
Well, I know you're about to talk about that radio, so I didn't want to cut you short there.
Yeah. What's the thoughts?
I know, it's a step up from the 817, that's for certain.
Looking forward to seeing that. I think it's going to be the perfect microwave go box driver. But I gather they still haven't sorted the 10 meg locking out. That's the only. You'd think they'd have probably learned by the mistake with the 9700. But there you go. No doubt somebody very clever will work out a system to do it, though.
Agreed.
And I think Peter said it's going to be the 817s. There's going to be a lot of them for sale on the used market because there's going to be not just microwave, but it's also going to be those who want to do soda, those that want to go portable, just want a radio if they go on holiday. And the fact that it does 10 watts is, just that little bit more than the 817. It's not an awful lot of power, but for what it's got in it, I think it's going to be very, very good. And
do we know when they're going to be released?
ICOM, as far as Australia is concerned, ICOM has said that it's going to be delayed, obviously, because of everything that's been going on. But I think that's worldwide, coming out of Japan. The tentative date was April, but I think they're going to be pushing that back to at least June, maybe even later now. So,
do they have a price in mind?
Too much.
Well,
you, Peter.
They haven't released a price on it, but we're hoping that it's going to fall between the 7,300 and the 9,700.
They're crazy if they make it more than 2,000 Australian dollars. Absolutely nuts. Yeah.
We did have a bit of a thought, though. We discussed this a few months back, didn't we, Tricky, with on a live stream with the club, and we said that there is the potential that they could even do it maybe as cheap as the 7,300, just purely to compete with the AC.
I think they'd be fairly keen to compete, and I think, as Peter said, if they made it over $2,000, it was sort of like that's way over double an 817, so it's hard to justify over double the cost.
Or an 818, sorry, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We know what sort of IF filter they use.
That's direct sampling. So there's no IF.
Up to 25 megs.
Right.
Anything above that step up, so it doesn't. It only goes up to 25 megs direct sampling.
And that's this is the big advantage of this thing versus the 817. Is the 817's in the 30-year-old technology, really. It hasn't really changed all that much. And this being direct sampling, essentially an SDR in a box, is quite appealing.
And it also has, I believe that they've been working on the software so that it does have a Wi-Fi chip in it so that you can connect to your Wi-Fi and use it for D-Star and hotspotting and digital modes and whatever else you want, which is going to be, and the other thing was the software that I used to control my nice IC 9700 before. They're hoping that you'll be able to control this over Wi-Fi as well.
Yeah. I mean, as far as that's interesting that you guys are looking at as a driver for the microwave. I mean, that's something I never even thought of, but makes sense. But recently, a lot of guys. I mean, there's probably 10 new licensed amateurs I've met in the last year on local repeaters, which is fantastic. And getting their radio, they're looking for that magic bullet, as we all do, right? What's the best radio? And so what a lot of guys are finding is they really like the idea of having everything in the box, everything in the radio, a shack in the box, and they're okay to not, knowing that it's not necessarily the best radio, because there's always compromise when you buy a radio like that, but they're okay with that because they're interested in having right away their VHF, their UHF, and then as well as HF to start to listen, eventually to study, and then pass. Because with HF, for us, we can't speak on it until you become a general, which is like the second test, being there's 3 total. And really, there's 2 radios right now people have been buying. The ICOM 7100, which is, that's been out for a fairly decent time in the screen. There's not a lot of romance in that screen. And then the Yaesu, the 991 Alpha, and the Alpha gives you that live waterfall display and really can do quite a lot. So when ICOM released this radio, I feel like it's going to be fantastic, but it should have been 100 watts because they would have just stomped everything, away, in my opinion. It would have had to been a larger size. I get it. But here, only having 10 watts, you better get your butt in your car and then with some hiking gear and disappear to where your noise floor goes down to S1, S2, because it's really challenging to use 10 watts HF wise. Now that'd probably be a decent amount of power to hit your local repeaters, but not really able to work simplex unless, again, you find yourself with some great elevation. So yeah, that's my only comment is I really wish it brought to the table that 100 watts, because I think right now people are buying, at least locally where I'm at, people are buying a lot of that 991A and then that 7100 because they do it all. But maybe they'll do that next, right? Maybe this will be the first iteration, and then we'll see something in a little bit.
Well, I guess it's a lot to package into such a small radio, and to get that extra power requires that little bit more space. But at least it will it'll appeal definitely to QRP operators, those that like to operate low power is the challenge. Also soda, and as we said, the microwave drivers as well. Because you only need a very small amount of power. But yeah, once they start to fit 100 watts into a radio that small with that many bands, with that much features, is going to be the radio for everyone, just about.
Quite ironic, Hayden. I'm just having a look at the specs online at the moment. If you run it with the 13.8 volts, you get 10 watts. I'm looking at a complete other end of the spectrum from a microwave to drive the transverters. With the battery pack in it, only gives you 5 watts, which is perfect for most transverters. But alleviates that thing, ALC overshoots and stuff like that on it. But it's the only thing it's lacking for me is a bias T to do the switching for me.
And 10 megs input.
And that
it runs off a standard the new standard ICOM battery as well. So you take the battery out, and it's only a small handheld battery.
The major saving grace of the 817 for the microwave people is that it only generated 5 watts, and there was nothing that you could do with it to inadvertently blow your front end of all your transverters out. 100-watt radios are a nightmare. It doesn't matter what you do, eventually you're going to screw it up. And almost everybody has done it once.
We always worry about that, don't we, Tricky, with running the 9700 into the Coon transverter, right?
Hands up those that have never done that.
Make sure it's on 1%, 1 watt.
Yep.
does it start off with just 1 watt?
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us on the stream and also on Ham Radio TV as well. It's been good. It's been good to have Jason there. You've had,
Yes.
looks like quite a few on the stream there too, and I reckon we need to do this again.
Absolutely, yeah. I just wish I had a little bit more color in my face. I'm hitting saturation right now because on your YouTube, I don't know. It's the details that always gets me, right?
What happens
Colour
if
looks
you?
all right here, Jason.
Yeah, do I look red in the face on Zoom right now?
Just slightly pinker than Hayden.
You do look like you've got major sunburn.
Yeah, well, so I mean, I'm cranking it up and I'm watching your stream.
Oh, that's better. That's better.
I'm watching your YouTube, and your YouTube isn't passing the color through. So that's what I was adjusting right there. I look great on Zoom. I mean, not saying I just, don't want to look like a vampire. I'm just trying to figure out what's going wrong. But yeah, perfect.
Yeah, there must be some. I mean, there is a little bit of difference when it goes through YouTube, but
yeah,
it looks all right here.
No
maybe
worries,
something
mate,
to play
in your
around with
words.
next time.
Hey, Peter. 4EA.
What?
What? Yeah, there you are. Hey, we've got some storms this afternoon. You're going to leave your 5.7 gig here running?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to get on air and talk to you.
It's running here in the background, listening to the beacon.
No, I can't hear the beacon from my place, but yeah, I'll point it your way and see what happens.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's some rain coming this afternoon, so
Let's check on that. It's disappearing at the moment, though. Have you seen the radar? It's sort of fading away.
Oh, is it?
Explain rain scatter for our viewers.
Oh.
So you're squirting microwaves into a rain cloud, and it acts like a Fresnel lens. So it doesn't. It splits the radio propagation, or sort of, I guess, rays into many different parts. So it sort of comes in like that and then sprays out, and it has the effect of sometimes being reinforced or cancelling out. So it sounds like someone's talking to the bottom of a barrel. And Kevin's described it as auroral sounding. I've never heard auroral, but I guess people in the Northern Hemisphere would know about auroral propagation.
We've heard auroral down here too.
Yeah, so you can get quite a bit of enhancement through the cloud, and also if the cloud is dense enough, you can get some reflection off the cloud. And it's almost if it's scattering a lot, you can't use sideband. You have to use FM or CW.
Yeah, it spreads too much.
It spreads too much. It's totally unintelligible. But you get some quite effective effects, and sort of the three of us have done a bit of rain scatter before, and we know that we're getting a lot more distance than we would normally.
Yeah, so rather than pointing your dishes at each other, you pointed at a common piece of rain where you've got co-visibility, and a little enhancement sort of undersells it a bit. Sometimes it can be 60 or 80 dBs of enhancement. A signal which is Q5 but S1 can go to being Q2 but 40/9. It's quite remarkable when you hear it. It's a difference if you've got forward scatter. In other words, you go through a cloud to somebody the other side. That's really the best one, and then you get the enhancement without all the distortion. Or you can do back scatter where you're both aiming sort of from alternate sides, and then if the distortion's enormous. But if you use FM, you still get through. So it's another mode of propagation that's open to us. And boy, do we get some good storm cells up here in Queensland at the right time of year. It's quite remarkable.
Cool. That's excellent, guys. All right. Well, I reckon we'll shut down the stream now. Thanks again, guys, for joining in, and we'll definitely do it again. I'm sure that this lockdown's going to continue on for quite a considerable amount of time. So we'll have plenty of time to chat radios and play with things in the shack, and be good to catch up next time.
Thanks, Hayden.
Thanks, Hayden.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
absolutely.
Hayden. Good to meet everybody. Catch you later.
Very good.
Yeah, 7-3s, everyone. I'm off to dinner as you guys maybe approach some lunch, huh?
Yeah, I've just finished the stream now. Can I catch up with you, Jason, before you go?
Yeah. Let me end mine. Okay.